Laura got an $810,000 gift from one donor in one conversation because she knew what to say, she identified the right person who was aligned, and she went for it. So I think she asked for $250,000 in December to a donor. And in my work with Laura and with her whole team, when you have big goals, you're raising 11.5 as a team, but you need to raise 12. You need to raise 15 in the next 18 months. That needs to become your new floor. That needs to become your new annual revenue. You got to take bigger swings. And where there is loyalty, where there is relationship, where there are people who are long-standing, committed, and generous, that's the place to start. So if you want to raise more money and get to a new level, you have to find those opportunities, and then you have to go for it when it's not a sure thing. So some people will tell you you need to run a wealth screen, which they have done that. You need to get more information. You need to build more of a relationship first. But if your emotional intelligence, your senses that there is commitment there is donor loyalty, they've been giving for several years, year after year, they're not going anywhere, right? And you already know that they're wealthy. They've said things to you that they're all in, that they believe in your mission. Then it really is about taking a big swing and making a much larger ask where you see that relationship as really strong. So Laura did that, and she got a no. The donor was like, no, I'm going to keep giving the amount that I've been giving. Okay, right? It was a huge win, though, because I was so proud that she went for it when it wasn't a sure thing. So this is a muscle that you have to build. You have to get over hearing no. You have to get over it. You have to continually take calculated risks. You have to do it. You need to be bolder, and it needs to become a habit. It needs to be a pattern and a way in which you operate, whether it's sunny outside or it's storming. Right? You have to take bold, calculated risks no matter what. You got to do it. If you're at 11.5 million and you need to get to 15, do you think you're going to get there by just asking for renewals? Like what? You got to get your current donor base to their best gifts. And you're likely looking to grow your audience. It's a marketing play. You're looking to convert your audience to monthly donors, to mid-level donors, major donors. You have an entire strategy at play, a multi-channel communications and outreach. So I share with you that no, because when you're taking bolder risks, you're strengthening the muscle of asking for more and asking for amounts that feel like, quote, a long shot. So that was something that Laura was developing, right? Now, that wasn't the only time that Laura was asking for larger gifts, but that just was notable because it felt extra risky to her. So fast forward, and their fiscal year ends June 30, and I'm recording this on June the 3rd. I just got an email from her a couple business days ago, so on Friday, right now is a Tuesday. She's saying to me, Julie, good news. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I got an amazing call and I had to reach out and tell you. Okay, so here's what she said. Myself and our head of finance met with one of the donors in my portfolio, and I asked for a $1.5 million gift to help us with our end of year goals, right? End of the fiscal year. We knew it was a long shot. Okay, all right. Great. And then the best moment, the donor calls me and says, well, how about $810K? She goes, I cried so much. And they were thrilled, and we're thrilled, and the whole team is thrilled. And it was 100% part of our stretch goal. So before, Laura had raised $110,000 for her stretch goal. So already high performer, already the top fundraiser at her organization. Now she has $810,000 gift coming in to help her and her entire department to reach their fiscal year goal. $810,000 because she had the guts to ask one person for 1.5. So this is what I say when I say that it's a negotiation. You're asking for your best case scenario, knowing that even if they gave less than that, it would still be a massive win, right? Then she said some really sweet things. And I want to reflect back to this client that, you know, I really honor her courage and her willingness to go for it. This is what humility and courage looks like. This is what servant leadership looks like. This is what integrity looks like. You don't just talk about wanting to raise more money. As the leader of a department, you are actually doing, you're modeling what you hope your team will model. And this client is the epitome of that. And so this is what she said. I met Julie about 9 months ago. Man, did she rock our worlds. Shaking up the norm on our team and challenging our hearts towards fundraising and a willingness to recommit ourselves to bettering our team and the people that we serve. It was worth it. It was hard to get brutally honest about the willingness to do better, and it was hard to admit that the quality of our courage was low. Here's the thing. How much money are you leaving on the table because it does take courage to raise it? She says, we advanced light years in fundraising ability under Julie. Julie gave me the confidence to ask for anything, and I did. Woo. I mean, the thing is, this particular client saw herself inaccurately. She is a fundraising badass, and she saw herself as just another member of the team, and she's an all-star. So part of where I think she got the confidence is that I helped her to see herself more accurately. This is so common. Nonprofits, we are told to be humble. We're told to not brag. There's a lot of folks who come from different cultures where it's a culture of deference, where you're constantly trying to get the spotlight off of you if it ever is on you. There's a lot of folks I work with from a faith background who are like, oh, God, by the grace of God, you know, to God all the glory. And it's like, yeah, but also you did that. Julie gave me the confidence to ask for anything, and I did. About 2 months ago, I listened to this God nudge, and I never would have made this ask before. I asked for a $1.5 million gift from a donor who I wouldn't have even asked. And our donor made a commitment of $810K that was part of our stretch goal. This is amazing. This is amazing. So there's a few things in here that I want to highlight. The willingness to see where you're doing awesome. This was something that Laura needed to work on. She needed to see just how awesome she actually is at this job. Why does that matter? Because the way that you see yourself affects how you behave, how you fundraise, how bold you are. If you think that you're really not all that, then you're going to act like you're really not all that. And you're going to ask for smaller gifts. You're not going to take big risks. When you're feeling confident, when you think, I'm amazing at this and I'm only getting better. And you have an accurate view of yourself. You know specifically where you're amazing. and where you might not be leveraging that, then you act more confidently. You take bolder risks. You ask for larger gifts that you otherwise wouldn't have if you're feeling super insecure, right? So how she sees herself and her awesomeness matters. And areas where you need to improve. She said it. We had to admit that the quality of our courage was low. I know what this is like. That's why I do this work, because I will never forget when I disappointed a donor. I'll never forget the look on his face. I felt mortified. And here's the thing, it was because I asked for too little. I have never felt mortified asking for too much money. When I ask a donor for, quote, too much money, they're usually flattered. They're like, oh, that's sweet that you think that I could give that much. I'm flattered. That's awesome. I would love to be able to do that one day. The most that I could do is $50K. People will just come out and tell you. Or in Laura's case, if you ask for 1.5, they'll say, you know what, I can't do that, but I'll do, how about 810? $810,000? Yeah. Yes, please. We'll take it. Thank you kindly. That money was sitting there, and Laura had to go ask for it. So the fact that she was willing to admit, you know what, I do need to work on my courage. And then she actually worked on it. And you know how she did that? She did what I told her to do. She implemented and took risks, and some of them did not work, right? It wasn't like we got yeses all the way through. But if you hadn't asked for those gifts and gotten no's, she would not have strengthened her courage to the point of being willing to ask for a $1.5 million gift. They're all connected, all of these things. So it is about asking for more, and it is about embodying the things that you hope your team will embody. If you know that your team is lacking courage, you as the leader need to embody courage. This is what I try to do. My podcast is on YouTube. If you're watching this, then you know that I've been posting my podcast on YouTube. I've invested in tech. I'm showing up on YouTube more. It's a risk for me. It's a lot of me, it's like my face and my voice, and it's a lot of talking. And I'm like, do people really care? Oh my gosh, my preference would probably be to just privately work with clients and show up, like post on LinkedIn every now and then. And the reason that I don't do that, the reason that I'm visible, is because I'm committed to serving people. I'm committed to being of service and being helpful and encouraging and challenging and fulfilling my calling. Even against my preferences, I would say 80% of the time, do not feel like being on camera. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do this because I teach people that they need to be visible. I teach people that they need to do things for their mission. So that's what I'm going to do. To me, what motivates me often are my values and who I say I'm going to be. It matters so much to me that my words and my actions align, because I can't stand when people lie or when they misrepresent themselves, when they pretend to be something that they're not, when they're self-deceptive. Like, I have very little tolerance for that. That's so far beyond who I want to be, right? So I'm like, okay, if I keep talking about it, then I need to be about it. And ideally, I'm being about it and then talking about it. There's a reason that I do that. Like, all of this stuff that I talk about, these things that I teach, I've done them. Like, I have done some really bold shit. Like, I have what some of the most flagrant, unhinged things, I've gone to donors, to foundations that are giving like a 6-figure gift. And I've told them how their process is burdensome. Please go find somebody else who's done that. I don't say this to brag. I say that when I'm encouraging you to be bold, there are things that I've done that I thought, oh, this is going to get me fired. Oh, this is really risky. This is like totally not a sure thing, but it's what I felt was the right thing to do. And because I care about sustainability, so I'm going to go to this foundation it's giving over $1 million and say, hey, look, like when you ask us about why we're hiring more fundraisers, it's because you have a process where you want to meet with me and then the CEO every 6 months, and then you want to report every 6 months, and it has 27 questions on it. That requires staff, and you are one funder of hundreds. So if you want us to, first of all, whether we hire more fundraising staff or not, right? Like your process sucks. It's unsustainable. And of course, I had to find a more democratic way. Is that the word? Or what's the word? Diplomatic. That's the word that I'm trying to say. Think of, yeah. Okay. A more diplomatic way to say it. Right? Like, oh, your process sucks. But I did have to say, hey, we think that you care about sustainability efforts. And so we're coming to you and proposing that you take a look at your process for current grantees. Because this is not sustainable. And also, by the way, you've asked us why we hire so many fundraisers. So let me just connect the dots for you. And actually, it went really well because they changed their process. They were like, well, we really value your feedback. So if you feel this way, probably other grantees feel this way. So we're going to change the reporting process. We're going to make it less frequent, and we're going to change the number of questions, and we'll cut back on some of this stuff. So now, because myself and my team at the time, my co-pilot at the time, we're bold enough to have this conversation that could have gone sideways. And it was a big risk because, it's over $1 million we're talking about. So now it's changing the landscape for all of the other nonprofits that this foundation gives to. Do you see how your courage actually impacts so many people? My client Laura's courage impacts so many people. The community members that this nonprofit serves, and their lives will be impacted forever, and their families' lives will be impacted forever across nations. We're talking thousands of people. That's no small thing. And then on top of that, Laura helped this donor to create an impact that they could not create otherwise, and to help someone to become even more generous, like to help someone become an even more generous version of themselves. That's so powerful because this donor has a family. This donor has influence with other donors. People who are generous run with other people who are generous. So you can bet that this gift is having a ripple effect on that donor's network and their sphere of influence. Because when you transfer money that size, like that impact, that is a really big gift, right? So it It's actually a massive transfer of love, of hope, of generosity, of power, of belief. It's powerful. So all of this matters. Laura started to embody the things that she saw she was able to admit were lacking within her and within her team. And she implemented the things that we worked on together, the strategy. I came and spoke to their team and joined them for their quarterly development strategy sessions for their entire department. And we did a lot of brainstorming. We did some training, mindset coaching. We worked on their communication and their strategy and where they might actually have opportunities that they didn't see before, and addressing issues on the team where people are behind in their goals. Not everybody is ahead in their goals all the time. And there are things that we can do that we control to change that. And it may not be obvious, right? But I've been doing this for so long, and I just live and breathe this. It's also so much easier to see someone else's weaknesses than to see your own, right? So there's that. I mean, but I work with at this point hundreds of nonprofits, development directors, VPs of development, CEOs, that there are a lot of the same issues that come up. And much of it has to do with emotional intelligence, which is why in my program, CourageLab, we're going to be talking and studying emotional intelligence this summer, how to have better emotional intelligence, how to connect with anyone, like from any background, any culture, to be completely adaptable, to be a great listener, to handle donors. How do you do that? How do you manage tough questions? How do you deal with really sticky or awkward situations with grace? We're going to be talking about these things this summer. I think the summertime is a great time to invest in your skills as a leader and as a fundraiser. And so that's what we do inside CourageLab. I'm really excited about that. And I think the line that stuck out to me the most was, Julie gave me the confidence to ask for anything, and I did. And nothing really changed that significant. It was really internal for Laura. Like, there wasn't a strategic plan that we made that gave her the confidence, although we did write a killer strategic plan together. It wasn't donor talking points or the perfect pitch, although she has the pitch framework, and she has, it completely removes all the guesswork from what to say to a donor so that it's just a slam dunk, obviously. Right? I have a proven pitch framework that my clients and I have been using that's evergreen, that can be completely customized to your nonprofit. So you know exactly what to say. You're prepared before every donor ask. There wasn't like let me take a look at your donor comms and your marketing, or it was an inside job. It was coaching and helping her to see who she really is, to have a more accurate view of herself as a fundraiser, and to have a more accurate view of her donor pool, of her donor base. Who are these people? Can you actually interpret where you, as a fundraiser, and your organization as a nonprofit stands with your top donors? Do you have a good read on that? That's what emotional IQ is. Can you read what's happening within you? And can you accurately read what's happening within the person that you're sitting across from? Your donor, your board member, your volunteer, whoever it is. This is a really important skill that we've got to get good at. And what Laura nailed is that she identified someone who really believed in the organization. This happened in one conversation. And then 2 months later, the donor calls her back and says yes. So it didn't take years and years and years to close this gift. We worked together for 9 months. We worked together for 6 months. And this she asked 2 months ago. So we worked together for 6 months, and then a month later, she made an ask. So made this particular ask. Although there were plenty of large asks that she made, this wasn't the only large gift that Laura closed. This was the largest in the last 9 months. So I'm just super proud. And it's just another example, like add it, to the hundreds where it takes courage to ask for more, and it's worth it. That is the huge unlock. And we don't become more courageous in isolation. If you're thinking, well, I'll just figure this out on my own, how's that working for you? We all need support. We all need a mentor. We all need a guide. I needed that. And there have been, I couldn't even possibly count all of the times that I've been too proud to ask for help. Lack of courage. Too proud to say, you know what, this is kicking my ass. I need serious help. Now it's become more of a habit. Now I've just become a healthier person. And so I don't see asking for help as a form of weakness, although there are times where it still doesn't feel good. But I want to grow more than I want to pretend like I have it all together. And the people who really want to grow, the people who want to get better, they want to be the best they can be, they find a way to receive help. They ask for help. They get help, and then they implement it. They don't take the feedback as personal. They take it, but they don't take it personal. It's not like, oh, okay, so what you're saying is that I need to work on courage. Okay, so I'm a failure and I'll never be good at this, and I'm a total coward, and I've ruined opportunities. They don't go down this rabbit hole. They're like, yeah, okay, of course I need to work on my courage. We all do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to change things. From here on out, moving forward, I'm going to become more courageous. And when you have a mentor and a guide, and you're doing this alongside someone who's been there, who's actually implemented these things, then it becomes sustainable. It becomes something that's feasible. You can actually implement this. I have not become a more courageous person by myself, not even close. And I don't expect you to either. But you got to invest in yourself. And you got to take the step that you need to take to get the guidance, the mentorship, the coaching, the accountability, the training that's really going to change things for you. And now Laura's never going to be the same. She's never going to be the same. Now she's preaching this gospel to her team, and they're just going to continue to rise. Watch. So you can completely alter your trajectory. You can become a more courageous version of yourself, and your results will reflect that. You will start to raise high-level six-figure gifts when you did not think it was even possible. You will start to see opportunities where you never saw it before. And previously you thought, well, we'll just need to get more donors if we want to raise that. When you become more courageous, you start to see opportunities you didn't see before. You start to see revenue that's sitting right there. You just need the guts to go and ask for it. And that's what Laura did. And she got an $810,000 gift from one donor in one conversation because she knew what to say. She identified the right person who was aligned, and she went for it. It takes guts. You can do this too. Till next time.